Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to my Robinhood portfolio. What I thought I would do today is take the opportunity to do a real-world, real-time day trade with you guys. There's been a few inquiries asking exactly how I do my day trades. In particular, PMOC, capital P, capital M, OSCK 10 was asking about this a couple weeks ago, how I put in my limit buy and limit sell orders for day trades. So I thought I would just take the opportunity here. Do a day trade, very easy, simple day trade, maybe just a couple shares of Ford here, a stock I've been doing a lot of day and swing trading with, to show you guys exactly how I put in my limit buy and limit sell orders. As you guys know, you always want to be putting in limit orders. You never want to be doing market orders, as the price in Robinhood here is not always the exact price that the stock is at any particular time. That's just because the application here has a little bit of a lag in it. For the most part, the application is a very solid app, but it definitely can lag a bit. So if you think, for example, you're going to be selling off Ford here at 1104, if I put the sell order here, it defaults to a market order. You can see that up at the top, market sell. But the stock price may have already moved to 1102, 1101, 1103 by the time I put in my limit sell. So if I would execute this order here, I might not sell at 1104. There's no guarantee about that. But if I clicked on the right there, order types, put a limit in, and then I put whatever the limit price is, I would be guaranteed to get that particular price. So you always want to be putting in those limit buy and limit sell orders when you're trading here on Robinhood. So again, there is pretty good updated prices in Robinhood, but there can be some lag in Robinhood. So you always want to be putting in limit orders. You just want to get in that habit of putting limit orders in. Yes, you can do market orders for a stock that you want to buy. You don't really care if it's off by a few cents or whatnot, but for any penny stock investing, stocks that are very low priced and a couple pennies up or down can make a big difference in your overall rate of return. You definitely want to be doing market orders, and I would just say just always get in the habit of putting market orders in, unless it's a $100 stock and a couple pennies up and down isn't really a big deal for you. But even then, just get in the habit of doing market orders, and I think moving forward you will never get burned by any trades. For example, Ford here, let's say I just put a buy-in for 5 shares, did the execute, and let's say for whatever reason it was moving very rapidly and I bought it at 1120. Well, that could have a pretty significant overall difference in my rate of return for my day trades, because a lot of my day trades are I'm only watching the stock go up a few pennies before selling off. So it makes a very big difference when doing a lot of the day trading. If you're just doing some buy and hold strategies, if I was going to buy Ford and hold this for a year or two, a couple pennies either way is not a big deal. But again, it's still impacting your rate of return. So the whole point of this is just to say, get in the habit of putting in limit orders in lieu of market orders. Market orders just are a little bit more volatile with regards to trading a stock, especially if a stock is going up and down in a pretty vigorous fashion. So having said all that, let's kind of review very quickly what some of the different terminology are. So if I were to put in a limit buy, for example, so when I click on buy, it automatically reverts to a market buy here. So again, you don't want to be putting in market buys because you won't necessarily guarantee the price that you'll buy a particular stock at. If you click in the top right there, order types, you can see there's a number of different order types here. The orders I'm using here are just limits. So if you click on limit here, you can specify exactly the price that you're willing to pay. And you can see that summarized up top there. Specify the maximum amount you're willing to pay for a share of a stock. So if this stock is moving rapidly, and let's say you only want to buy this for 1102, you just put in 1102 and you go ahead and buy it at that price. And this is going to be very important when doing a lot of these day trades, because you want to specify and try to buy on the dip, the market buy, and then you want to try on the market sell to sell on a peak. So basically you're buying the dip, selling the peak, and there's a lot of different ways of doing that. The way I'm going to be doing it today is simply doing 5 shares of a stock, but you can get a little bit more sophisticated, on the dip, buying twice the amount of shares that you're buying, or when you're selling on the rally. So for example, you'd want to buy maybe 10 shares here, then sell off 5, then when it dips down again you buy an extra 10, so on and so forth. So you're always building up your number of shares, but always averaging down. So for example, you'd buy 10, sell 5. Then down here, so you basically have 5. Now you want to double that again. Buy 15 here, then sell off half of that, and then you basically are just continuing to accumulate shares at a lower price and selling off at a higher price. That works if the stock is trending up or down. If it's trending up, you're always buying a little bit lower and selling a little bit higher. If it's trending down, again, you're going to be losing money overall, but you're always going to be buying a little bit lower than when you sell off. So you'll be losing a little bit less money than you would if you weren't doing that strategy. But again, the way I'm going to be doing it today, I'm simply going to put a limit buy in for 5 shares and a limit sell in for 5 shares, just to show you guys exactly how I do a lot of these orders. So the first thing you want to do is try to find out what price you want to buy a stock for. And there's a lot of different ways you can do this, a lot of different metrics you can use. There's a lot of day trading metrics, but for the most part, I kind of know this stock over a period of time. And essentially, you want to try to find where the peaks are, and you don't want to be too aggressive. If you're too aggressive trying to find the peak, you'll never have an executed order. So for example, today Ford Motor Company started off at 11.12 here, and you can see it dipped down 11.02, dipped down to 11. So you can, maybe put a limit buy in at 11 or 11.02 or so. You can put it in lower than that, but let's say the stock never hits that price, you'll never execute your trade throughout the day. So I always try to put in a little bit higher than that. So maybe 11.02 would be a good price to buy this particular stock at. So you want to try to time the dip here. Again, you don't want to be too aggressive. If you tried to buy it at 11, but that might not ever get down to 11. So let's try to put it in. Looks like the stock is trending up here a bit. And again, I want to verify that on a different chart here. I have my Vanguard and E-Trade accounts open. Excuse me. So let's put a limit buy in at 11.02. So for this example, I'm just going to be buying 5 shares. So we go a limit price here. Let's put 11.02. So that's going to be the maximum price that I'm going to pay for a stock. Time in for, so you can put this in for 1 day or never expires. I always like to put them in for 1 day, so at the end of trading, all my orders that have not been fulfilled or executed are canceled. That way I don't have an order that I forgot about, and maybe a few days later it executes at a price that I did not want it to execute at. So I always put it at 3 p.m. That way at the end of the day, like I said, all orders are canceled. I never have any outstanding pending orders I have to follow up on or remember. Again, let's just do 5 shares. You can see the estimated cost, $55.10. Click on that, you swipe up, and now that trade is basically waiting to be executed. So once the price dips down to 11.02, this stock will automatically be bought. So this is a nice part about the limit buy and limit sell orders. You don't have to sit in front of the ticker watching this. So a lot of traders, myself included, have day jobs throughout the day, so I can't be watching this throughout the day. So I can put those orders in the morning. Again, if you know a stock fairly well, you can kind of figure out what the good limit buy, limit sell orders will be for the dips and the rallies. And it's not always going to be perfect. That's another key point I want to make. This is why I do a lot of my day trading with Ford. A lot of folks think I love Ford as a stock and have criticized that it doesn't have a good, long-term gain here. I would completely agree with that. But the whole point of day trading Ford is it's a blue chip company. So this isn't one of the penny stocks that could be delisted overnight, that could drop 30 or 40% in 1 day. Yes, over the last year it's dropped 13.77%. Over the last 5 years it's only up 33.45%, while the S&P 500 is up more like 85 to 95%. But the good part about this day trading strategy is, so Ford, it's a blue chip company. It's not a penny stock. I don't ever have to worry about this stock being delisted or this stock going bankrupt in any time in the near future. And it's a very low price stock as well. If I was trying to day trade with Amazon, for example, that's a $1,000 stock. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to do that, but Ford is kind of a blue chip penny stock, if you will. It's very low price, $11 currently. So you can buy quite a few shares, and just a few penny difference is going to result in a pretty big percentage movement. So that's why I like day trading in Ford. It's a low price stock. It's kind of like a penny stock, but it's a blue chip stock, which can be held for the long term. It's also got a great dividend yield as well. So for example, let's say I bought, at 11.02, let's say I bought, 3,000 shares or whatever, $3,000 plus worth of, $30,000 plus worth of Ford. And let's say I can't get out of that trade for whatever reason. Let's say the stock continues to trend down, for example, like it has over the last 3 months here. then let's say I bought at this dip here, and unfortunately it's just been trending down here. Well, I'm more than happy to keep this for the long term because, again, penny stocks you do not want to hold overnight. They're very volatile. But Ford here is a blue chip company. Yes, it's going to, maybe trend down here a bit. It's down 13.7%, but it's got a good dividend yield. And over the long term, I have every confidence that this is going to trend back up at some point. This isn't going to be doubling or tripling your money overnight or in a few weeks or a few months, but this is a very conservative way to day trade. If you can't get out of the stock, don't need to worry about it too much because Ford is a blue chip company. It survived the 2008 financial crisis and stock market downturn. Did not have to take any government money, so it's a very solid company. And yes, there's a lot of management changes recently and whatnot, but it's still better than any other type of penny stock. So that's why I like to do day trades with Ford. But that's kind of a side note. But the big underlying or thing I want you guys to get out of that is I like to do this with very solid companies. I don't like to do a lot of day trading with penny stocks. Yes, penny stocks is high risk, high reward. You can make a lot more money doing penny stocks, but you can also lose a lot of money very quickly. So that's why I like to do day trading with Ford and some of my other stocks here. So yeah, so I put in my limit buy. Again, you basically are just waiting for that order to be executed. And you can see here, it's trending up here a bit. So the $11.02 trade may take, a while to execute. It might take several hours. It may take until the afternoon trading to execute. Another key point too is you want to put these limit buy and limit sell orders in, especially the limit buy in very early in the morning. A lot of movement in the market takes place before noon, really before 11 o'clock. In the first couple hours of trading. So that's why a lot of day traders do a lot of their analytics overnight, and in the morning they have everything set up, and within the first couple hours they do most of their trading, and by afternoon a lot of them call it quits and start doing research for the next day. So I hope that all makes sense. So you always want to use limit orders. You always want to kind of judge the price of the stock and not necessarily try to get the absolute nadir here, but tailor it back a bit here so your trades are executed. Put these orders in fairly early in the morning, and then try to do some risk management with regards to the underlying stock. Penny stocks, very high risk, high volatility. You'd want to watch those a little bit closer, and that's another reason I like to do forward is that the prices move a little bit less vigorously, so I can put those orders in. Don't necessarily have to, again, sit in front of the ticker all day to watch a lot of this stuff happening. So right now, 11:04. And another nice part about these particular orders is, let's say, for example, it's not going to be executed at 11:02. Well, throughout the day, I can log into my account here. I can open up that limit buy order here. Let's go ahead and just on the bottom there, do cancel my order. Now that order is canceled. I can go back here. And let's try to be a little more aggressive. And just because I'm trying to get this done real time here, live, let's put another order in, but let's be a little bit less aggressive. Let's put in 11:04 for example. So click on the buy button again, order types, limit, let's do 11.04 for the limit buy here. Time in force, again, 3 p.m. I always like to have my orders canceled at the end of the day so I never have or I never lose track of the orders. Let's do 5 here, and let's go ahead and execute that. Let's see if that goes through fairly quickly here. So that's not a very aggressive order. Typically I would do the limit buys a little bit more aggressive here. So it trended up to 11:05. So let's just kind of wait and see if this is fulfilled here. So 11:04, 11:05 is where the price is currently. And again, you can just do this all day long. You can, every once in a while jump into the portfolio, do some canceled orders if you need to. Check on your stocks. Another great part about the application here is that once your order is fulfilled, there's going to be notifications. So your phone will notify you that the limit buy has been executed, and then you can go ahead and do your limit sell right after that. If, like I said, you don't have extra shares that you're able to put in limit buy and limit sell orders at the same time. And I like to do my limit buys and then put in my limit sells afterwards just to kind of keep some good accounting purposes. I don't like to have multiple limit buy and limit sell orders going at the same time. So you can see this is trending down here a bit to 11:04. did not trend down enough to get that to execute. And another key point I want to make here as well, let's say I put in for my limit buy 1,000 shares, and let's say, as you saw there, just momentarily trends back to 1104. Sometimes you'll have a partial order, so maybe 100 out of those 1,000 shares are fulfilled. So it's not always a guarantee that the exact number of shares that you have on your limit buy will be fulfilled, as well as limit sell. So that's a key point. You know, I've often had, you know, for example, I put in a large order. You can see here recently I put in a large limit sell over here, $8,080 worth of shares. This one actually took about 30 or 40 minutes to fulfill all of my shares. So I would get a notification saying 15 shares were sold, and 100 shares, and 200 shares, so on and so forth, because I put in some very aggressive orders with regards to my limit sell there. It's really trying to sell on the peak, and it's just momentarily popping up and coming down, popping up and coming down. And it did not necessarily sell all of those shares at the same time. Another key point when doing a lot of these trades is you just got to verify that the order is completely filled. And Robinhood will let you know that. It will say that your order has been partially filled. You know, just keep continuing to fill those orders until they're done. And you can also go in, let's say for example I put in a limit sell 1,000 shares, 500 or so. I can go in and cancel that order, and the 500 is executed, and then the rest of those shares are not executed. Again, you can see it trended down there a bit to 1104, but did not sell, or excuse me, did not buy my shares right now. You can see the order here is still pending. You know, 5 shares at 1104. So just kind of wait. Hopefully this will trend down here a bit. I don't want to make the video too long here, but again, this is just a real-time example of how I do my day in swing trades. This isn't with a lot of money. Obviously, I'm going to be putting a little bit more aggressive orders with my limit buys, and I didn't want to, you know, make a 2-hour video here if the price didn't come down to that. But wait a few more minutes here to see if I can get this trade executed. Again, limit buy, limit sell orders, very easy to do. When you click on, for example, the buy button, you go up to the right, click on order types, and you can see there's a number of different order types there. Market is the default. You're simply going to be buying whatever the price is, and if a stock is moving fairly quickly, you won't be able to guarantee yourself exactly the price, you know, both for a limit buy and limit sell order. Limit is a great way of doing the orders, because you can specify exactly the price you want to buy at and exactly the price you want to sell at. And sometimes if the price is moving fairly quickly, for example, I put the limit buy in at 1104. Let's say this is moving very, very quickly. Let's say it drops down to, let's do an exaggerated example here, at $10.30. Well, I might buy that at $10.45, even though my limit buy is in 1104, just because it's moving so quickly. Especially, like I said, for the partial orders, you know, I might, you know, put a limit buy in at 1104, for example. Let's say it's moving very quickly. I might buy, you know, 10 at 1104. I might buy a couple hundred at 1050, a couple other hundred at 1040. It really depends on the number of shares being offered at any particular time. So you can see here, just touching down to 1104, but still my order has not been fulfilled. Now it's trending up to 1106, so really missed an opportunity here. Should have put my order in a little bit earlier, because you can see here it really trended down to 11. I was going to buy if it got under 11. That's why I started the video here. Now it's trending up here a bit. So let's just go in. Let's cancel the 1104 order. Again, placed. You can go on the bottom there under my Robinhood portfolio icon there. Let's go ahead and cancel the order. If I can click on it here, there we go. So that order is now canceled again. Let's go back into stock. It's currently showing 1106. In my E-Trade account, it's currently showing, so it's 11.059, so just under 1106 currently for the price of the stock. Let's go ahead and put a limit buy in. So typically I would not be doing this. Oh, and now it's 1104. So let's see if I can't quickly put my order back in. So jump the gun there. So 11.04 for the limit to buy, 3 p.m. Let's do the 5 shares and execute. Let's see if we can't get this bot here. E-Trade account currently is showing 11.045. So just a little bit above my limit buy order here. Let's see if that doesn't trend down here a bit. Now it went back up to 11.049. You can see that was fairly quick with regards to updating here on Robinhood. So Robinhood, it's a pretty good way of tracking the price of a stock, but again, it's not necessarily perfect. So still 11.05 here in my E-Trade Vanguard account, similar price as well. Robinhood's 11.04, 11.05. Let's see what the price movement has been in E-Trade. E-Trade, now it's 11.055, and you can see here fairly quickly it was updated. So what's making a pretty big highlight about Robinhood not having the best up-to-date information, but you can see here it's fairly up-to-date and fairly accurate. Let's see here, E-Trade 11.055, Vanguard 11.055 as well. So let's go ahead and cancel that again, and that's another great part about Robinhood here. You can go in and cancel these as much as you want. Let's cancel the order again. Let's put a little bit more aggressive or less aggressive order in actually for the limit buy, just because I want to have this executed here. Let's go buy again. Up on the top right, limit buy. Let's do 11.05. 3 p.m. today. Let's do the 5 shares. You can see their estimated cost $55.25. Taking a while here. Okay, now we're in at 11.05 for the buy price. Currently, Vanguard is showing 11.06. E-Trade is showing that as well. But let's just watch this for a few minutes here to see if that will trend back down. I'm hoping it'll trend back down to 11.05. So this is executed. So kind of show you guys how that works. 11.055. So trending down a bit here in E-Trade. It's still not up to date in, well, it's 0.55. So Robinhood's going to be rounding off to 11.06, so it makes sense. Let's see. So still 11.06 here. Now it's down to 11.05. So trending down here a bit. Still 11.06. So the stock has been trending up nicely here. If I would have put an order in at 11 this morning, you can see here. Let's say I put in an order for, $10,000 worth of stock here. Would have made a nice little profit here. 11.06 in just a few minutes here, and then you basically sell off, then wait for it to come back down again. And again, you can do a little bit more sophisticated. Buy 10, sell 5. So now you have 5 shares left. Now you buy 15. Sell half of those, so on and so forth. So the stock is trending up here a bit. It looks like it came back down in my E-Trade account, 11.055. Vanguard as well came back down to 11.055. So this is taking a little bit longer than I had anticipated, but again, this is, I think, a good example of how to do a lot of these limit buy, limit sell orders. And if I was doing this during the day, I wouldn't necessarily be here watching the price of the stock as closely as I am here right now. Simply doing this to show you guys exactly how I'm doing my orders here. Now it's back up to 11.06 here. Still 11.055 in E-Trade, Vanguard, that same price as well. Hope this is making sense to you guys. Again, you put your limit buys in early in the morning, typically before the market opens, and then when the market opens, your orders are already in to be executed. Once they get executed, Robinhood will let you know, notify you of that. Once you get notified, you can put in your limit sell orders again. Again, trying to identify peaks here and then selling off on the peak. And you can repeat that as many times as you can throughout the day. And let's say you buy in here, for example, but the price of the stock continues to trend down and you didn't put in your peak orders there. You can go ahead and hold this for a swing trade for maybe a few days, maybe a few weeks. If it trends down like it has been with the Ford here over the last month here, you see it's down 3.83%. You can hold it for the longer term, sell it off at a later date. Get the dividend in the meantime. So it looks like E-Trade 11.55. So unfortunately, this is not cooperating right now with regards to limit buy and limit sell orders. I could put a limit buy in, I suppose, at 11.06, hoping it will trend up here a bit. But again, The whole idea behind this is you want to identify the peaks here. So you can see at one peak here this morning, 11:02. Other mini peak here, 11:03-ish. Peak down again, 11:03, 11:04, 11:02, 11. So that's why I had chose initially, if I was not doing this live, I would be putting in a limit buy in at 11:02. Once it got down to 11:02, then I'd be putting a limit sell in probably 11:06. If I wanted to be fairly aggressive, I'd be putting in my limit buys in and maybe 11 or 11:01, and then putting my limit sells in 11, maybe 10, 11:08 to kind of see how that plays out. See here, still 11.055 on Vanguard, on E-Trade, 11.055 as well. And you can see there it was a little bit delayed with Robinhood. It just now ticked up to 11.06. Yeah, I would follow this for a few more minutes here. Hopefully this gets executed here so I can put in a limit sell order to show you guys how that works as well. And there's been a lot of different stocks I've been doing this with. I've been doing it with Portola quite a bit. Let's just kind of go through some of my stocks here as we wait. Kind of updates you guys on some of the plays I made yesterday. Put in an order for Portola. You can see that on the bottom here. Bought almost $3,600 worth of stock, 100 shares, and you can see here it's trended up very nicely, $36.63. So I made about $50 to $75 on that particular trade so far. Also bought a little bit of Pfizer yesterday. I like Pfizer long. I'm not going to be doing any day or swing trading with Pfizer. Put in 10 shares, $32.28. Averaging down a bit here. You can see my average cost, $34.37. You can see it's $32.64, which is good. This is another stock I'll be jumping into. I've been doing a little bit of dividend capture with this particular stock. A great ETF, has a monthly dividend associated with it. 3.9, a little bit over 4% right now with the price of the stock. You can see limit sell here. I put in on May 24, $7,600. And you can see on the bottom here, monthly dividend. Been currently paying out anywhere between 0.11 and 0.13. You can see that was 0.13. I think the most recent one was 0.0995. So dipped a little bit. That'll change depending on what stocks are paying off in any particular interval for that particular stock. What other trades did I make yesterday? I think I put a little bit of money into AT&T, averaging that down as well. Probably not the best stock right now, but I think it's a good longer term stock. $38.64. What did I buy that for yesterday? Put in $38.62, so not a lot of price movement there, but again, this is a little bit longer term play with AT&T here. I think telecoms will come back a bit. Other big play I made was with not AAPL Apple, the other Apple here in my portfolio, APLE, Apple Hospitality REIT. Yesterday it was $18.80. I went ahead and bought some shares. The dividend was 0.1, so it should have dropped down to 0.7. You can see here it's 0.64, so it dropped a little bit more than the dividends. I'm actually down a little bit of money on this, but this is a little bit longer term play as well with APLE here, Apple Hospitality REIT. It's a great real estate investment trust, upscale hotels. 6% dividend yield, and it also pays out monthly. You can see that on the bottom here. March 15th, April 17th, May 15th, I have had some orders in place. Let's go back over to the forward to see if that has been executed. It hasn't been executed, I know, because it hasn't updated me, but let's scroll back over to forward. It's currently at 11:06, and that correlates with my E-Trade account here, 11.055. Okay, now it's 11.05 in E-Trade. Let's see if this is executed here. You can see there's a little bit of a delay here with Robinhood. There it goes. So you can see the delay was probably 15 to 20 seconds or so. Maybe a little bit longer because the update here is every 5 seconds on my browser. It went back up to 11.055. So again, it's not necessarily getting my order executed here, even though it did drop down to 11.05. Again, reveal limit buy-in at 11:05, 5 shares here. Just waiting for that to execute here. Okay, it's back down to 11.05. Let's see if this executes here. E-Trade back. Oh, now it's 11.052 on my E-Trade account. So it definitely has been trending down here a bit. Looks like the limit, the bid-ask spread here is 0.01. Hanging out right at 11.05. So hopefully this is executed here. Looks like it went back up to 11.055. You can see that updated here in Robinhood as well, 11.06. So again, just waiting for this to be executed. And again, if this was being done during the day automatically, you wouldn't need to be watching the stock throughout the day. You simply put in your limit buy, limit sell orders in the morning, and then watch this as it trends out throughout the day. Typically, I would check this maybe every few hours or so, maybe once in the morning after I put in my limit orders, once in the afternoon. And then obviously if it's notifying me of any trades, I may put in more orders. Because that's a nice part about Robinhood. It would notify you. I'd put a limit buy in. If I get notified that that has executed, put a limit sell in. If I get notified, take that capital, put another limit buy in. Just repeat that as many times throughout the day as I have time for or as the stock allows me. You can see here the stock isn't necessarily moving up and down in a vigorous fashion, so you're not really going to be able to execute a lot of trades throughout the day here. So came back down 11.05. Okay, my E-Trade and Vanguard accounts both are saying 11.05. So let's see if this is executed here. So 11.05. It's taking a while here, but let's see if this is executed. You can see limit buy here. Looks like it's been executed here. 5 shares at 11.05. Not been notified of that yet, but that's been completed. You can see at the top there, order status completed, 11.05, 5 quantity. You can see the time there, 12:16 Eastern Standard Time, May 31st, 5 shares, 11.05. So now we have that limit buy in place. Now let's go ahead and put that limit sell order in. So the limit buy has been executed there. You can see that there. Let's put a limit sell in, click on sell. Again, you want to put a market sell in, put a limit. For this, let's just put 11.06 for the limit sell. So I will not sell the price of the stock for anything less than 11.06. If it's moving rapidly, it may go above that, but it'll never go below that. Let's put in the same 5 shares here. It's 11.06, 5 shares, 55.30 will be the price. And we go ahead and execute that. Now we just wait for that to be executed. There's nothing more you need to do. And you can see the difference here would be 55.25 and then 55.30. That's essentially the price or the amount you would make. Again, this is just a really quick example here, so you're not going to be making a lot of money on this particular trade. Going to be making just a few cents here, but if this was, $15,000 worth of stock, you can see that's not an insignificant amount of money. You could be making, $20, $30, $40 in a pretty quick amount of time here. Let's go back. Let's see where the price of the stock is currently. Looks like it's trended back. So it's 11.055 in my Vanguard. My E-Trade account, 11.055 as well. So let's see if this is executed here. Just kind of waiting here. Limit sell. You can see here, perfect example. Order partially filled. So order status partially filled. You can see 3 shares at 11.06. So total amount sold 33.18 here. So this is a very good example actually. So you can see here that I put in 5 shares to sell, but it only fulfilled 3 shares. So it's still waiting to sell those other 2 shares. If I wanted to cancel the order, I could cancel that at this time at the bottom there with the cancel order. Current stock price, let's go back to my other. So 11.05 in E-Trade. In Vanguard, it's 11.056. So again, we're just waiting for that to be filled. Again, I put my limit sell in at 11.06. You can see it's been partially filled here. 3 shares at 11.06. Total amount so far 33.18. There's still 2 more shares pending. If I wanted to cancel those other 2 shares, I could at this time. Again, we're just waiting for that to be filled. It looks like E-Trade, it's trended back down to 11.05. Vanguard, 11.052. You can see there, if I would have had a lot more shares here, let's say I had 1,000 shares being sold here. I'd only have 3 shares sold, so there'd still be 997 that would be pending. And again, if I wanted to change that order, I can cancel at any time. And the nice part about Robinhood, there's no fees for doing any of this. So I can put in my limit buy, limit sell orders, not have to worry about any trading fees other than some of the trading fees that aren't associated with the brokerage account. There's no commission trades here, but there are still a few fees by FINRA and the SEC, but you need to be trading literally millions of dollars worth of stock, thousands of shares worth of stock to have any significant fees. And if you're trading that much amount of money in that many shares, it really wouldn't amount to anything, to be quite honest. So again, 11.04. 11.04. So I'm not sure if this is going to be all the way executed, but you can see here I did a little bit of a live trade here for you guys. Putting my limit buy orders in. Again, put a limit buy in. 11.055 shares, 55.25. Kind of watched the stock for a while, trending up and down. Went ahead and sold those, or excuse me, bought those and then sold off here at 11.06. You can see it's partially filled. These will still be filled if the price does trend back up to 11.06. And you can do this as many times throughout the day. You simply are trying to identify the dips here and then sell on the rally. Identify the dip, rally. So buy the dip, sell the rally, buy the dip, sell the rally. Different ways of doing that. You can see it's trending back down here a bit. So if I would have had my original order in 11.04, it would have been a nice little trade here. Again, this may trend down to 11.02, so you can put another limit buy in. And so I have that limit sell working, but let's say I wanted to buy some more shares. You can go ahead and just put a limit buy in at the same time. Again, limit order, let's say I want to do another 5 shares at 11.02. Let's be a little bit more aggressive here. 3 p.m., put in 5 shares here. I can put that in. So now I have a limit buy going, a limit sell order going at the same time. You can do as many orders like this as you want. Let's say a stock is moving rapidly. You want to put it maybe a limit buy in at 11.02, maybe a limit buy at 11. Maybe you want to do 10.50. You can put as many of those orders in as you want, and you can basically buy as it's trending down here. Let's get a better graph here. So as it's trending down, you can put a limit buy in here and here and here and here, so on and so forth. So as it trends down, you can essentially buy at a little bit cheaper price, but also have orders in that if it never gets down to that price, you can buy as well. So for example, let's say I wanted to put a limit buy in at 11.04, 11.02, 11. So as it trends down, I could get a little bit better price. I wouldn't have to put all my money in at 11.02 or all my money in at 11.01 or 11, for example. I could put in 10 shares here, 11.05, 10 shares here, 11.02, 10 shares at 11. Maybe I want to put another 10 shares on 10.30 or whatnot. So very cool way of doing some trades. Again, limit buy, limit sell orders for doing a day trade here. So kind of with that, I'll end the order here. Let this kind of play out here to see if I fulfill all 5 shares here. But that's how I do my limit buy, limit sell orders. Let me know if you guys do similar ways, if there's better ways of doing this. That's how I've been doing a lot of my day trades. And yeah, kind of with that, I'll end the video. If there's any questions about any of this, let me know in the comment threads down below, and I'll do my best to try to get back to you today to answer any questions about that. But that's how I've been doing my day and swing trades, my limit buy, limit sell orders. Again, void market orders, put in orders at the beginning of trading. Robinhood will update you on limit sells, and then you can put in your limit buys. And you can do this as many times as you want throughout the day. Try to pick stocks that are good longer term, that if you can't get out of a stock, you can hold it long term. Penny stocks, you never want to hold those overnight. And yeah, kind of with that, I'll end the video. As always, if you guys enjoy my videos, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. If you guys have any questions, like I said, leave it down below. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Any good video ideas, other topics that I can read up on and do a video about, let me know. Always soliciting opinions on those. So yeah, let me know. Like, share, subscribe if you're so inclined. And until next video, we'll see you then.